Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Now this video is part of our video series of Python tricks for data science, deep learning and machine learning. Now as part of today's video, we are going to see how to perform the activity of list comprehension, dictionary comprehension, as well as another important built-in function that is called as mapping function. So comprehension activity is when we'll be doing when I wanted to do something on a Python list, do the mathematical operation and then add it back to that Python list. Now to give you a use case, so let's assume I'm having a Python list that says as x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this is my Python list. Now the expectation is I want to get every element in this Python list and I want to square it. So it's a simple requirement, isn't it? So I want to square every element inside this Python list. Now a traditional method that we would do is I'm going to create a new list as a blank Python list, and then I'm going to iterate over every element in this x, that is original Python list x, and after that I'm going to say that okay, new list dot append, and inside the parenthesis I'll have to specify okay I square. So this is what I have to do if I want to use a traditional method. So I'll have to iterate over every element and perform the list appending for every element. So that means I'll have to create a new variable, create a for loop, and I'll have to write in at least 3 to 4 sentences or 3 to 4 lines. But using the list comprehension, I can write everything inside a Python list and that would return me the Python list, guys. Now if I don't want to create it as a variable, I can just create that Python list itself and it would show me the output. I don't have to create the variable as well. Now in order to use it, we'll have to follow a syntax. The syntax for this list comprehension is given by, so this is my Python list. So on the left hand side at the start, I'm going to have an expression. So this expression will be applied for every element in iterable. Now this iterable can be anything, guys. So I'm saying for every element in iterable, I'll have to specify the expression. So let's take up an example and let's make use of this syntax and write something, guys. Okay. So first I'm going to mention about my syntax. So syntax, as I mentioned already, it's inside the Python list. I'll have an expression for number in iterable. Okay, so this is my syntax. So let's use this syntax and create something. At this time I'm going to say that okay, there is an example Python list and this has the values as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in order to apply this list comprehension, I'm going to begin by saying it as okay, Python list. Now inside this, as I mentioned already, my requirement is to square each and every element. That means I'll have to square my individual numbers inside my Python list. So where should I get these numbers? So these numbers I can get it using the for loop inside this Python list. So I'm going to say that for number in example underscore list. That's it, guys. That's how simple it is using this Python list comprehension. So I'll say for number in iterable. So in place of iterable, I'm using my Python list and my expression says number into 2. That means number to the power of 2. I'll just execute this. So this would give me an output that says as 1, 4, 9, 16, 25 and 36. So it has squared every element that was present inside my Python list. And this is the beauty thing about Python list comprehension, guys. Now let's assume I want to include if statement as well. That means I want to square the values only if it is even number. Now in such scenarios, I'll just have to modify my syntax. In such scenarios, the syntax will be like this. I'll say expression for number in iterable, and this is followed by if condition. So this is the syntax that we have to follow. So let's do that. So if I want to write the syntax again, I'm going to say that okay, for number in iterable, and this is followed by if condition. Now using the same logic, this time I'm going to say that okay, perform the list comprehension and I want to perform the same activity, power 2 for number in example list, and my condition is if number mod 2 equal to 0. So if it is even number, then only perform the squaring activity. I'll just execute this. See, this time I just have the output as 4, 16 and 36, that is the squares of 2, 4 and 6. The concept is the same. So only thing is, when the condition matches, then only I'm applying this expression, guys. So that is the difference. So if I want to give a simple example, first if it come across the value of 1 in the first iteration, so it is going to check this condition is 1 mod 2 is equal to 0. Obviously this will be equated to false. So since it becomes false, the expression will not be applied. Now in the next iteration, 2 mod 2 is equal to 0. Obviously this becomes true. Since the condition becomes true, the expression num power 2, that is 2 power 2, is evaluated, and I have the output over here in my Python list. So this is how we can perform list comprehension. Now the next trick that we are going to learn over here is dictionary comprehension. Now the syntax of this dictionary comprehension is very simple, guys. Key expression, value expression for expression in iterable. Now to give you a better understanding as how it actually works and how it will be used, I'm going to create my Python list A, and this contains a string elements. So I'm going to say A, B, C, D, E, and I'm going to have one more list as list B, and I'm going to say that this has the values as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have two Python lists. Now using these two Python lists, I want to construct a Python dictionary which says that, okay, get every element in my Python list. So in my Python list A, this is a Python list which contains A, B, C, D and E. Now my requirement is get individual value from it. From list A, it should become key, and for list B, it should become values. Now by filling the values, I have to square it. So it means A 1 square, B 2 square, C 3 square, D 4 square and so on. So this is the expectation that I'm having while generating my dictionary. So the expectation is every element in my Python list A should become keys in my dictionary, and every value, it should become squared, and then it should be assigned to those respective keys in my Python dictionary. So A 1 square, B 2 square, C 3 square, D 4 square and E 5 square. So this is the expectation that I'm having when I'm constructing my dictionary. Now in order to do this, so like a normal scenario, what we could do is we could iterate over every element on this Python list A and Python list B together using zip function, and then creating the Python dictionary, saying it as, okay, for this key, this is the one, for this key, this is the value and so on. But here in this scenario, I'm going to show you how we can apply the concept of comprehension. So I'll say as inside my Python dictionary. So I want to say key and value *2. Okay. And where should I get the keys and values? These keys and values are for key, comma, value. Okay. In zip of where should I get the key? Key is from list A and values are from list B. That's it, guys. So if I just execute this, this has created a Python dictionary A1, B4, C9, D16 and E25. So this is a simple way to perform dictionary comprehension. Okay. Now, as I mentioned already, we have another method when it comes to Python. If I want to modify the elements in my Python list, that's called as map function. The map function syntax is something like this. So I'm going to say it as map, and then see, I'll write the syntax. So the syntax is something like this: map, and inside the parenthesis, the first argument is function and the second argument is iterable. Now once I execute this, this is going to return me a map object. In order to see what exactly are the elements are present in this map object, we'll have to convert it into the Python data structure. It could be Python list sets, or it could be Python tuples as well. So let's see how we can do that. So this time I'll use the same Python list, that is list B, which contains the values as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now, for our requirement, I want to change every element to the cube of it. That means 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, 4 cube and 5 cube. Now, if I want to do it, let's see how we can make use of map function to do the same. So I'll begin by saying it as map. Okay, the function that I'm having is, so this is the function which tells me how exactly my individual element of this Python data structure should behave. So I want to do the cube operation. So to do the cubing, I'm going to write a function which is a lambda function. The lambda function is very simple. So lambda x cube. Okay, and the iterable that I'm using over here, that is the Python data structure, that is list p. Now I'll just execute this. So by default, it is resulting me in a map object. See, this is a map object that has been written for me as an output. Now to see what exactly are the elements that are present inside this map object, I'll have to convert it into this Python list. So I'll say list and I'll enclose everything that we have written earlier. Now I'll just execute this. So this has resulted in a Python list where every element has cube of it. So every element's cube in my original list is cubed. So 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, 4 cube, 5 cube and so on. So this is how we can make use of map function to modify the elements in my Python list. Now for the easier understanding, you can think this as a concept, guys. So if you want to modify an element, you can make use of map function. Now let's say if you want to apply some filtering in such scenarios, you will make use of filter function in Python programming language. Now we have seen about list comprehension. We'll use this list comprehension when I want to apply some expression on my list elements and return as a Python list. And dictionary comprehension helps us to create the dictionary using our own logic for key value pair. So this was about tips and tricks of working with Python programming language for data science, machine learning and deep learning. So for more such tricks, please subscribe to our channel. I'll see you next time. Thank you guys. Take care.